friends, and welcome to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video. This is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and today I am going to provide you with 4 last-minute tips that you can use to increase your galactic power to prepare yourself for the territory battles that are set to launch tomorrow. Now, these are some very basic tips, but if you use them, if you implement them, I promise you that your galactic power will increase and you will receive more rewards for the territory battles. Now, I've asked a few other YouTubers around, and just to make sure that this is legitimate, and I asked what is galactic power, and because I read the definition based on the information from the forums, and it didn't quite make sense to me. So the question that I posed was, does galactic power have anything to do in territory battles, or is it just some really cool way to see how your roster stacks up against others? Now, the response I got from Warrior, great guy, and I really appreciate his input, was galactic power is directly converted into territory battle points when deploying troops. Now, that is going to be really important. So what it means is the higher your galactic power, the better off you're going to be. So keep that in mind. Right now, my galactic power, or if you want to find your galactic power, go into your inventory, and in the upper right hand corner it shows you what your galactic power is. Now, mine is sitting currently at 2,094,051. Now, I have everyone unlocked except for General Grievous and the Gamorrean Guard. Now, once Captain Han and Rolo are added to the inventory, obviously that's going to change, or the potential for that will change. I don't know if that will increase my power or decrease my power or increase my power potential or earning potential. But what I've gone ahead and done is, as I've looked through this and I've looked at ways to increase that galactic power, I've found, like I said, 4 things that we all need to be doing to just maximize as much as we can. Now, if you guys are like me and you have your squads, your main squads ready, you've got them maxed out, you've got the best mods on them, you've got everything that you possibly can, but you probably don't have these people down here at the bottom of your roster geared past level 1 or even raised past level 1, as I didn't today. And so what I've done is I've gone through and I have raised every single one of my characters as much as possible until level 53. Now, level 53 is the point where you can start unlocking gear 7. Now, do I have enough credits or gear to gear all of my crazy people up to gear 7? No, of course I don't. But I've got a lot of miscellaneous gear that I've been collecting over the last over the last couple of years. And I've got, just like probably most of you, I've got a lot of gear that is just wasted, that is just not being used. And so what I've done is I've gone into characters like Mob Enforcer, and I've raised their gear. Now, you've noticed here that I've stopped at gear 6, quite close to gear number 7. Now, here's the thing. The jump from gear 6 to gear 7 is one of the largest jumps in the game. There's another large jump from gear 9 to gear 10. Then there's another really big jump from gear 10 to gear 11. And there's going to be an even larger jump from gear 11 to gear 12, right? But once you get those characters to gear 7 from gear 6, it's going to be a pretty big jump, and it's going to impact your galactic power. Now, here's the thing. I've gotten the Mob Enforcer to a point that I can raise her up, but I don't really want to use these keypads because I may be needing them somewhere else I just haven't paid attention to. And you know, I've got 17 out of 20. If I had a couple hundred of these, then I wouldn't hesitate to use them and raise her up to gear 7. But I don't. And I've brought her as high as I'm willing to go while not really putting myself out a ton. Now, I've gone ahead and I've focused my main power, or I've focused my main attention on the light side characters. Now, why have I focused on my main attention for this territory battle on light side characters, and that is because obviously we are going to be using those characters the most this time. And what I've done is I have raised all of my tunes to a comfortable level, so where I'm not putting myself out anything, you know, wasting gear on tunes that I probably won't use, especially the better gear. Now, but I'm trying to get as many of them up as I possibly can. Now, like, look at here, Lobot. Lobot is gear 7, which is pretty solid. I could go ahead and farm these things, but that's going to cost a lot of energy. Now, if I had a lot of them, I'd go ahead and use them. This may be something that I would be willing to request from my crew or from my guild, because this is something that's pretty basic, and a lot of people may have a bunch of extra ones of these. So, you know, go through and do that, because request that if you can. But if he were closer and there were only 1 or 2 things that I was missing and no one else down here needed them, then yeah, I would go ahead and increase his gear level to gear 8, and that would increase his overall performance. So that's what I would do. First thing you should do is go through, raise everyone who's not up to level 53 to level 53. If you have your HAAT Rebel Soldier or your HAAT Scout, like here I've got to do this, I'm just going to go ahead and increase HAAT Scout because I do have the credits, and it's going to, oh man, that sucks. I'm not going to increase him all the way because I don't need him right away. I won't need HAAT Scout in the first phase, and I don't think I need him in the second phase. So I have a little bit of time to be able to level him up. Also, I have a little bit of time to gear him up. So between now and then. But again, the mods that he needs, or the gear that he needs, it's going to be really hard for me to get him up. Now, the next thing that I would suggest is after you've leveled everyone up to level 53, like I said, gear them out. Now, but don't just gear out the light side. Focus on the light side first, especially if you're limited in gear, especially if you're a new player. This is probably going to be difficult for you. But if you're an old player, if you've been around for a while and you just haven't seen a lot of movement, or you don't have a lot of characters that you've put gear into, then, you know, gear your tunes out, both light side and dark side, as high as you possibly can. Once you've done that, you're going to notice a marked increase in your galactic power. Now, what I noticed is for every character that I raised from gear 1 to gear 6 gave me an additional 2,000 points of galactic power. Now, that doesn't seem like a lot, and it may not be, especially considering that I have 2 million. But it could very well make a huge difference later on, and we don't know exactly yet how it's going to play out. But this is one of those things where it's better safe than sorry. We will see something. We will see this have an effect. Now, it may not be a huge effect, but it's really no skin off your back outside of the time that it takes. So like I said, gear light side, then gear dark side. Then the next step is to increase all of your character's stats to level 3. Now, level 1, you have to use these MK1 ability mats, which everyone probably has a couple thousand at the very least. Level 2 is when you have to use the MK2 ability stats. But level 3, you know, the blue ones take you to level 3. Level 3 to level 4 is when you use the purple ones. Now, the purple ones, if you have a lot of them, go ahead, spend them. You know, that makes sense. But spend them on characters that you're going to use later on. Spend them on characters that are going to get you from ability 6 to ability 7. Don't spend them willy-nilly, especially if you have a limited supply. And if you have tunes that aren't going to be used, like the dark side tunes aren't officially used, then don't use those purple ability mats. Wait, hold on to them. And that's why I say raise all of your crew, everyone in your roster, to gear levels or to ability level 3. Every single possible character that you've unlocked. Raise them to ability level 3. If you have a couple thousand, there's no reason why you shouldn't do this anyways. It just makes sense. Like, I went through and I raised every single one of my characters, all of them, leader abilities, every single thing, up to ability level 3. So they're all at least level 3. And again, a marked increase. This is going to provide, I think it was like 500. I don't really remember, but it provides a marked increase in your galactic power. Now, the next thing you need to do is you need to throw on mods. Now, again, I started with my light side mods. I started with all of those who I'm going to possibly be using in the territory battle. Now, I may not use all of these characters. I may only use some of them, and I will probably only use some of them. But what I've done is I've gone through and I've added my mods to just a number of these characters, right? And some of these I should probably have mods on anyways. Some of them I don't, but I have quite a few mods. Now, I haven't raised all of my mods up to level 15, and there's a reason for that. Again, I'm not going to use HAAT. I'm not. I don't think he's very good. He's one of the early tunes that you get, and I just don't care for him. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw some temporary mods on him. And with HAAT, I really don't want to throw a good one on, and so I'm just going to throw this mod on. And what I'm going to do is, instead of raising it to gear level 15 or to level 15, I'm going to raise it to level 8, 9, or 10, depending on how much I have. Right now, I'm just going to stick with 9. Now, this gives him additional benefits. It's not a lot, but it's an additional benefit. I'm going to go ahead and confirm. And what you see here, let's go back to my character list. I only went up 1,000. Actually, like a couple hundred, it looks like. I'll probably go back and post and make a note of it and how much the change was. But it wasn't a ton. But every little bit counts, right? And since every little bit counts, everything that I do to increase their potential damage or their potential power, I'm going to do. Now, again, like I said, raise them to 8 or 9, 7, 8, or 9, simply because it doesn't cost a lot. And you know, you could spend the time going through and really figuring out how much, you know, which mods are going to be on the best characters, and yeah, you could do that. But if these are tunes you don't use very often, it's not worth it. Throw the mods on, and then move on, right? I'll just throw on this one here. Potency. Again, I'm not really looking. I don't know. Going with health. Health is one of those universal mods that every tune could benefit from, and there's some really good mods out there for health, and they're useful, right? But I'm not looking. I'm just throwing them on because it doesn't matter. At this point, it really doesn't matter, because these are probably characters that I'm not going to use, but they are characters that I am going to benefit from having an increase in galactic power. And if I come across a mod that, you know, is great later on, then hey, I'll make a note of it and I'll come back to that, right? But yeah, it's definitely one of those things that you're going to want to add, and it will increase your power. So let's go ahead. I've got one that's level 15. I'm raising the rest of them to level 9. Not even looking. It doesn't matter at this point what stats I'm going to get. Okay, confirm. Let me go back. Alright, so that put me about 800 more than I was before, right? So again, if you were to do that with every single mod, with every single character, you're going to do pretty well. Or at least you're going to raise most of your characters. Now here's the other thing too, guys. This event isn't going to be a 3-day event, it's going to be a 6-day event, so you have plenty of time between now and the end of the event to go through and do this, to go through and really mod out your crew, to gear them up, to increase their ability stats, to level them up, especially if you don't have credits now. I'd like to see a credit heist come in between now and then, but I don't think there's going to be one. I will say the one thing that you will need to pay attention to when modding, when increasing character levels, are those characters who are going to be part of the event, and those are the HAAT characters like HAAT Rebel Scout. Now, I don't have mods for HAAT Rebel Scout, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to head over to crouchingrancor.com, and I will leave the link in the section below. Now, what Crouching Rancor has, for those of you who don't know, they have this mod manager, a mod advisor, they have tutorials, they have their own YouTube channel. Last I checked, they didn't have a ton of YouTube videos. But this app is phenomenal. I love using this app. Just like a lot of the other apps that we've seen before and a lot of the other online sites that we've seen before, you put in your name. This is mine, and you'll see your name up here, right? And you'll scroll down and it shows you all the mods that you have, what level they're at, what dot range they are, and you can choose and manipulate and figure out which ones you want to look at, right? It is a really cool ability. It is a really cool manager. And it, like I said, it does show what you have here and some of the other stuff, or not some of the other stuff, it just shows you your mods, which is brilliant. But then if you click over here on Mod Advisor, it shows you different advice, or it makes different advice for these characters. And so I want to come over to my Rebels. If I just want to look at Rebels, I come over to Rebels. Let me find it. I click on Rebels, and it shows me all of the Rebels and a good solid mod package for them. If you want to tweak around with your mods, that's totally fine. Obviously, it's fine. And there may be better combinations for mods than what you see here, but this is a great place to start, right? So with HAAT Rebel Scout, I don't really have anything, so I could put, based on the material that this provides, as offense and critical chance. So what I'll do is I'll go over to my offense and I'll start throwing stuff on. I don't have anything leveled up all the way yet, so I'll throw on this guy, and let's see, that might be, I like to start with the higher ones, with those that that's a good one, that are green or above. I mean, obviously start with gold if you have it, but if you don't have it, that's fine too. Go ahead and throw some protection on. So I'll go ahead and level this guy up. I'll level HAAT Scout up to 9 like all my other players, but he's going to be one that I pay attention to over the next couple of days and do what I can to rank him up, right? To rank this up until I need him, and I will probably be increasing his mods one by one until I need him for, I think he's in phase 3 that we need him. Okay, so that's a pretty good start. Let's go to critical chance. See what mods I have. I don't have anything for that. Critical avoidance. Oh, what did I put on him? Critical avoidance and critical and health potency. Yeah, I'm gonna leave critical avoidance on. I think HAAT Rebel Scout's he's an attacker, so maybe not the best. I'll throw on tenacity. I'll throw this one on, and I'll increase this one to 9 as well. Nope, not 15. And I love this little bar. I think it's great, but it is so frustrating sometimes. Now, I don't have anything to put there in the middle, so what I will do is, over the next couple of days as I'm farming mods, I will do what I can to either buy that triangle piece if it shows up in the mod shop, or I will try to farm it. But with Captain Han being available probably sometime tomorrow, or maybe even after the reset tonight, I'll most likely be focusing on him than anyone else, so, or especially than HAAT Rebel Scout. But that's the thing, is I'll go ahead and I'll confirm. Again, not the greatest. I don't have a ton of time to spend waiting for him. I'll do some research and figure out the best mods for him. But for now, this is a really good start. And if I have a little more time, if I have a little more opportunity, I'll put some on Plo Koon and Cup and Logray and Paplu, and you know, I'll farm out Pow and Bodhi and Kit Fisto and all those other people that I don't have modded yet. But most of my light side has mods, and most of them all are fairly decent. Now, my final score right now is 2,095,632, which is a slight increase. Again, we don't know how much of an impact the Galactic Power is going to have, but it's better safe than sorry, especially since this only takes a few minutes of your time, right? Do this while you're, you know, laying in bed at night. Do it while you're sitting at on the can at work. Don't do it while you're driving. That's dangerous. Don't do that, right? But if you're waiting at a bus stop or someone else is driving, go ahead and do that then. It's a great tool. But one last thing, don't neglect your ships. Ships will also play a role in this, and if you raise up your ships, then you will benefit from it. We don't know how much you'll benefit, but we know that you will benefit, right? So go through, don't forget your ships, don't neglect them, show them some love, especially if you have a ton of ship credits just lying around. There's no reason not to. Just raise them up as much as you can, and in the end, it will only work out to your benefit. I really do believe that. So I will finish with this one last tip, guys, and that is, look back to your characters. Look at those characters that are close to going up in star level. If you have a toon that is not maxed out to 7 stars, like for example, I have Obi-Wan or General Kenobi. There's nothing I can do right now to get General Kenobi to level 85 or to 85 shards before this event ends. Nothing. Same thing with Wicket and a few others. But there are a few characters that I can get to level 85, or that I could probably get to a higher level before the end of this event. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at characters like Greedo. Do I have enough guild currency, or do I have enough squad arena currency to level Greedo? Sure I do, because it's Greedo and I have not put money on Greedo. And so every time I get a chance, I'm going to do all that I can to get him to the next level. Once he's there, I'm done with him until I need to farm him more. Now, that was the first time I've ever actually spent, you know, energy or currency on Greedo. I've been getting him, I think, in other packs, but maybe I haven't, I can't remember. But I know I have been getting a few of these characters in other packs. Maybe Greedo wasn't one of them. Hey, look at that. Gotta love that. 50 credits, alright. But that's the thing. If you can get these characters up to up a star level, that will be a really big boost for your galactic power. Especially if you can rank them all out to star level 7, that's going to be the best. But if you can't, don't worry about it. Just get them to the next closest level. Characters like Lobot and Gar Saxon, for me, they're too far away. I'm not going to focus on them. But Greedo, he's someone I can focus on. Death Trooper and Sith Assassin, you know, if they were to just randomly show up, maybe I would buy them, you know, in the Galactic, the Shard Shop. But I'm not going to spend a ton of time. Night Sister Initiate, I could probably get up, or Tusken Raider, I could probably get up between now and then. But again, it's not going to be it's not going to make a huge difference alone, but cumulatively, in the aggregate, all together, this will start to make an impact for your galactic power. You better believe that Mob Enforcer will be 3-star for me before this event is over. I have no plan on ever using Mob Enforcer as a character, but she is someone that if she can give me any little bit of you know, galactic power, galactic juice, or whatever you want to call it,
Phrasing.
I am going to give it to her.
Phrasing.
I know. I feel like archers should pop up and say phrasing.
Hey, phrase it.
These are just a few of the tips that I've come across, or I've gathered today as I've been looking at the material. Remember, I'll just recap real quick. Level all of your characters, or as many of your characters as you can, to level 53. If you can't level all of them, focus on light side. Add gear as high as you can without taking it away from another character, right? Increase all of the abilities, every single one of them, to level 3. Don't go past level 3, especially on the characters that you'll never use. Add all of your mods. If you have characters that don't have mods on them, and you have leftover mods by the end of this event, then you've wasted your mods. I really do believe that, and I think every little bit counts. And then finally, star the closest or easiest to star to the next possible level, and then stop. Like I said, guys, every little bit I think is going to count. Tell me what your galactic power is. What is your guild's galactic power? Right now, we are ranked somewhere in the, I think the hundreds overall. We were at, I think, 89 earlier today, and it was kind of cool to see. Leave a comment in the section below. Like, share this video with your friends, with your guild. If this has made any sense, please help your fellow holotablers out and give this video a share to them. This has been Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and as always, my friends, stay nerdy.